Hello. My mic is probably not very good right now, but I'm just letting you know that I'm just about to fix it. It's going to be a lot better in just a second. And if you give me 1 second, now it should be a load better. Hello, Sahir. Hussein, welcome to the chat. How you doing? How are you doing? Look, we had some pretty big news. We have some pretty big news. Not incoming. That has come today, and it's kind of news I'm gutted about because I don't understand it. Big up someone that's tuning in. It's good. It's good right now. I'm good. How about you? I'm good as well. Thank you for asking. But yeah, we had some big news drop earlier today from. It's not some random source. It is, of course, Fabrizio Romano, and I didn't want to be the big bit of news we got to be this. Nico Gonzalez could leave Man City this summer in the event of a good proposal. An exit is neither guaranteed nor 100% decided and depends on offers, but there is a feeling that the midfielder is not that crucial for the project. One to watch. I just find this incredible. I find this truly insane that we've come to this conclusion on Nico Gonzalez, a player that hasn't even gotten 20 appearances for the club. And we are already looking to move him on. A player that, in my opinion, has only shown the good signs of a DM. You know, I'm with LB. I can't believe it. I can't believe that this is the conclusion that we've come to on Nico Gonzalez. This is what we think is potentially the step forward. You know? I don't want it to be this. I don't even know if Nico Gonzalez wants it to be this, but it's looking likely that is just how it's going to be. It's really gutting. It's so gutting. Yeah, it's actually crazy. Yeah, I know. It's actually just mental. I don't understand it. We'll see if there's any updates on it down here. Man City will face Palermo in a preseason friendly at the Stadio Benzo Barbera, particularly on Saturday, 9th of August at 8 p.m. UK time, contesting in Augural Anglo Palermisian Trophy. Good luck. Now then, there was this. Now this dropped from SPB Ashko. They're not an awful source to my knowledge, but again, they're not like Fabrizio level. But Nico Gonzalez is expected to report back for training with Man City in Manchester at the end of July, with Man City not looking to sell. So it really depends on who you want to believe here. Nico Gonzalez or SB Jaco, Ashko, or Fabrizio. Fabrizio reported it 5 hours ago. These guys reported it 4. So it seems like it's a follow-up on that. We'll see if Fabrizio said anything more on it. See if I can find the original post. Nope, that's not Nico Gonzalez. Nico. Oh, looks like I've gone past it, maybe. Maybe it was this up here. Just want to find it there. Hold on, just go have a quick swig of my drink. And look, I just can't believe that we've actually come to this for Nico Gonzalez. You know, he's not even played 20 appearances. In my opinion, he's been solid every time he's played. You know, and 20 appearances, not even 20 appearances being generous, by the way, because when you actually look at his minutes, it's even less. I don't think he's played. I'm actually curious to see how many minutes he's actually played in a City shirt. So let's actually go find out. Okay, he's only 23, turned this year, so he's still really young. So Club World Cup, he played 61 minutes. So 61 plus. Look at the 23-24 stuff. Oh, no, 24-25 we need to look at, don't we? Not 23-24. Stupidity, and madness, says Alpha Varka. 3 words to sum this up. So, in a City shirt, he's played 61 minutes plus 764 minutes. That is 825 minutes. Plus here, that is 862 minutes. Plus the Champions League. He's played about 930 minutes for us. He's played about 930 minutes. So that is 10 and a half games, if that. And we are already looking to sell this guy. 10 and a half games has defined this guy, by the sounds of it, at the club. And I just think that's madness. Like you said, Alf, I think that is insane. He's barely played more overall appearances than, he's only played a bit more than Kusanov. And for me, Kusanov looks top. And I think this guy looks good. Man, I cannot be seeing Gundo, Bernardo, Kova next season. I refuse that to be a reality. This is a rebuild we have to go on now. Last season opened our eyes. And that's what it should have done. This is not rebuild mentality. Like Bernardo coming our captain. Gundo's future still uncertain. Kovacic probably not going anywhere. It's looking like all 3 of them are staying. And in some way, Nico Gonzalez is going to be the fall guy. He's the guy that gets shifted on so that the rest of them can stay about. I just don't understand. I really don't. Like, that is genuinely insane for me. Last season showed us how bad our midfield was at times, Like, it's why did we sign him, Did we sign him to weaken our midfield? Obviously not. Okay, so we obviously signed him to improve us. And suddenly we do not think he can improve us over Gundo, Bernardo, or Kova. Oh, look to the chat. Zaid. I'm not really sure how to say your name, but big ups for tuning in. Looks like Tijani will be the backup in the 6 somehow, and Bernardo Kova as the 8th. That is just crazy to me, Zaid. That is actually bonkers for me. Like, I genuinely don't understand how we can do that. Like, big up Connect Herbal, and big up Connect. Welcome to the stream, Herbal Man. Let me know what you think of this news. I'll show you the tweet in a minute if you want to see it. I actually just don't understand how we've come to that. I'm just trying to find a specific game where, like, it was real bad. Fixtures. Just trying to find out FootMob. Just trying to find a look at when our midfield is just awful. Gosh, you're looking at the trenches right now. Yeah, but big up to you, Herbal, in the stream. Let me know what you think on Nico Gonzalez's future. Even if he stays, honestly, if both Gundo and Kovac don't leave, don't expect him to play. That is a concern. One of them have to go. Like Bernardo's not going. Okay, he would be one of my picks, but Bernardo's not going because he's the captain. We're not just going to make someone captain and let them go. So if Bernardo's captain, then it has to be one of them. And I genuinely don't know. Kovac's not been in the club as long, but you could argue Gundo's not. He only rejoined last season. This midfield is horrendous. Here, okay, specifically this core three. This is awful. This is actually an awful midfield to look at. Like, we all remember how bad this was. I don't know, mate. If it's true, then it's just poor decision making from the club. I still hope that this is just a rumor and has been blown out of proportion. Oh. Hello? Hello? I think we're good again. I think we're fine. Alright. Oh. No, we're not. Hold up 1 second. I don't know what's going on here. Alright, there we go. Back to normal. Yeah, I hope you're right, Herbal. I hope it is just a rumor that's been blown out of proportion. I hope Fabrizio's gotten it wrong. But it really does look like his future is at risk, and I'm just puzzled as to why that's the case. I don't know why we're looking to sell this guy, man. Genuinely insane. He was having a brilliant season at Porto. We bought him in. He didn't play bad. He hardly played. And now we're looking to sell him after just over 10 appearances in terms of minutes. I can't back it. I really can't, I really, really can't. For a midfielder of this quality, to potentially be watching this at points again next season, man. Because bear in mind, Tijani gets injured at all. Okay, and if Rodri's not quite there yet, you're looking at this. This will be your midfield if Tijani gets injured and if Rodri's not quite back. That is genuinely the case. And man, it just shows the lack of learning. Bernardo, age 30. Gundo, age 34. Kovac, age 31. It's just... I can't have another midfield like that. Exactly 1 or 2 injuries and we're cooked. Yeah, we're straight back to this midfield that was horrendous. One of the worst midfields I've ever seen for us. I wouldn't even want to see it as an experiment. But yeah, I lost us there. Where are we? We'll be down there. And it's more than just that game as well. There are more games that it took place in. And let's scroll back a bit more. Where are we thinking? Let's go Brighton. Let's see what we went for here. This one, tried to switch it up again, but This is when we were realising that Rico probably isn't quite ready for that midfield, the physicality of it, and plus playing alongside Kova and Gundo ahead of you and Nunes on your left isn't brilliant. These aren't the best options, especially at this point in the season, and having Simpson Bousset behind you as well. Let's have a look at another game. I do hate to bring up this period, but I feel like I have to, just that we can really see like how bad it can be. Again, it's just, it doesn't work. I said it recently. You can't have two uncles and then a younger guy. That's what happened against Al Hilal. Okay, imagine this is Rangers and Kova is Gundo. We can't have midfields like that. Okay, why would we? When we have Rangers and Nico Gonzalez and Rodri all available. We need to lose a midfielder. Outside of City, does Bernardo, Gundo, Kova start for any top sides? Definitely not together, I'll tell you that much. They maybe one of them can squeeze in somewhere, but you can't. But no way do they all play together like they do here. It just doesn't work. Exactly, there's too much responsibility on the younger midfield off the ball. Yeah, like a midfield, in my opinion. Okay, let's just imagine that this is a bit more recent. Imagine Tajani Rangers and Nico Gonzalez here, for example. Okay, or even Nico Gonzalez here. Again, I don't mind having like Bernardo here in this space. It would be so much better. There'd be so much energy. Okay, and then if you want to bring on Gundo in the last 15 minutes where he can go full blast to help us try and keep that game. I think there is a place for players like Ilkay, Kova, and Bernardo in this team, but it is not the first name on the team sheet every week. It is not that. It's helping just finish off a game at the end of it, helping slow down the game, bring the pace down a little bit. Yeah, and look, O'Reilly, again, he's a bit of a midfield option, okay? They haven't got the experience to do it yet, to be fair, but, man, I'll tell you what, I'd rather see that. I'd rather see that than just playing those three together more and more. Sadly, I think Pep disagrees. Yeah, that does seem to be the case. Like, I don't know how last season... Don't get me wrong, before last season, I can potentially see how you could oversee that. Okay, miss that. Okay, despite being one of the best coaches in the world and like the best, and like one of the most well-run clubs in the world. Okay, I could potentially see that, but I cannot see how we're coming to this conclusion on Nico Gonzalez and thinking, okay, last season was solid. Last season was awful. Where was some of the awful areas? The midfield three, being Gundo, Bernardo, and Kova after just one injury. Alright, there's no KDB here anymore. Rodri's coming back to fitness. We signed Nico Gonzalez in January. Rangers we just signed now. We still got these three uncles. What should we do? Let's sell the guy that we bought in January so there's still minutes for the three older guys, and let's put more pressure on the younger two, okay, that being Rodri and Rangers. Let's put more pressure on those two to pick up the slack. A Rodri still returning from injury and a Rangers who's fresh in the club. It doesn't make sense. Maybe I'm crazy, yeah? Maybe I'm not the tactical genius that Pep is. Maybe I'm not the people on the board with all the paperwork and all the scouting networks, okay, who know what they're on about. Maybe I'm just crazy and I'm completely wrong about this, and I'll be proved wrong. But I bet you, if this goes through, if this goes through, I bet you, if Nico Gonzalez goes to any form of a top club, if he stays in Europe or if he stays even in the Premier League, I bet he goes there and he cooks. And when he plays against us, we will see him cook. I 100% bet you that happens. And then we will look stupid. The club will look stupid. Pep will look stupid. Right? We already looked dumb off last season, man. We were the clowns of the season for a big bulk of it. Don't forget 1 win in 14. Horrendous. 100% he's a good player. Yeah, he's genuinely a really good player, and from what I've seen anyway, maybe I'm wrong, hey, maybe the first 17 official appearances he's played and the 930 minutes he's played, maybe they've just been a bit of a purple patch, and if he ever plays another minute for Man City Football Club, he's just going to be awful every minute he plays. Maybe I'm wrong, okay, maybe the club somehow sees that and I don't. Alright, and hey, if anyone's going to see it, apparently it's them, okay? But I genuinely haven't seen any evidence of it. He was having a brilliant season with Porto. There's no reason to have those seeds of doubt. At Porto, he plays as an 8, by the way. He's come in trying to learn a new position. Of course, he won't be perfect straight away. And more than that, Zwide, he's not just learning a new position, he's learning a new system for the bulk of last season, Last season, he was learning a whole new system, coming to a new country. I don't think he probably couldn't speak the greatest English ever coming over. He probably could speak it a bit because of the club he played for and whatnot. But adapt. It's a lot to adapt to, and more importantly, quite rightly, playing in an absolutely dead midfield. This midfield is cooked. Why, Caleb? Why is he going? If that's what you're asking, I don't know. Apparently, we do not see him as a crucial part of the project. But even if he's not a crucial part, in my opinion, even if he's not a crucial part of the project, not every player needs to be crucial, okay? Every player has their piece in this project, okay? In my opinion, he should be up there because the midfield is a problem, The midfield without Nico Gonzalez and Rangers is horrendous, okay? It's fully reliant on Rodri. We need people that can patch up the Rodri hole that will be left if he gets another injury or if he fails to return to his best, okay? Because Rodri not returning to his best is a possibility, I don't like the idea of that possibility, but players have gotten ACLs and have just failed to hit that level again. It's happened before. There have been scenarios when they've came back and they've been phenomenal. Some would say that maybe they've gotten better. Look at Florian Wirtz, He got an ACL and then goes on to have the 2 best seasons of his life so far, and still so young. But there are obviously cases where they failed to come back to that level. And the brilliant thing is about that, if we keep Rangers, well, we'll obviously keep Rangers, but if we keep Nico Gonzalez on top of that, is that the both of them can fill that hole if we need it. And then have someone, and then have Bernardo if you want in the team. Have Kova. Okay, I personally wouldn't start Gundo in a high-profile game. Maybe in like an odd cup game or something like that. All right, but start one of them in the midfield, and then I think it can work. I don't think they cannot stay. But I'm more than willing to let one of them go if it means that Nico Gonzalez stays. Absolutely, but what do I know? I have no worries about Rodri coming back, but fitness-wise, I'm worried that Pep will be using. That's my biggest worry. I do think Rodri can come back and hit that level again. I don't doubt that. I think that is very much on the cards. But if Pep overplays him, if Pep brushes him back, we played. Bear in mind, we played Rodri injured this Club World Cup. He's been complaining about his injury, and we played him for the Juventus game and the Al Hilal game whilst he was complaining. Stupid move. If he's complaining about injuries, you do not play him. You do not. We also rushed him back from injury last season. Pep said Rodri was still injured, but I needed him, so I bought him back for Inter and Arsenal. Then he goes and tears his ACL. You could very well see Rodri pick up another injury just because you're not willing to play players you have, or give players a chance, man. Like, Nico Gonzalez hasn't even had a proper chance, in my opinion. He's played 930 minutes. That ain't even 10 games. It's just over, even. Club World Cup, how's he complaining and still playing when you have Nico? Yeah, exactly. Another big thing. You have the rotation there. Your player is complaining that after this huge injury he got, it's still hurting, or he's feeling something. So what do you go and do? Instead of playing the perfectly capable midfielder on the bench, no, we're going to play you anyway, Rodri, and just risk you. We need to take care of our players. I absolutely agree. I've spoken about injuries in football quite a bit, and it's a topic I tend to speak on because I think it's huge, to be honest. But the football, I'm not saying that I'm a prodigy and I'm the only guy in the world that sees this, but some people in football just don't seem to quite fully fathom it. I think Pep does get it to a point because he's mentioned it before, but I don't care if you want Rodri to play. If he is injured, you do not play him. If he is complaining that his injury's playing up, you do not play him until he is ready. Until the doctors give you the A-OK. You can't build trust if you won't give players and new players a chance. Exactly, man. You have to give them a go. You have to give them a proper go. Give him a few games in a row this season. Now that he knows the system, now that he knows the country, right now he'll be learning with his new teammates. Well, not right now. He's on holiday now, probably, or even on the phone with his agent. But you've got to manage it properly, man, because next season could be awful again. Teams are only getting better next season. Look at Liverpool. Kirkes, Wirtz, Frimpong, and potentially a striker on top of that. Look at Arsenal. Gyökeres, Norgard, Zubimendi, and I've seen links to Rodrigo. I don't know if I'll get him, but I've seen them. A new winger one way or another. Other teams are improving massively, and here we are relying on our 30 to 34 aged midfield to still pull in the numbers that they were pulling in 5 years ago. It's stupid. It's just stupid. I really don't get it. What's the use of a squad if you weren't using rotate? I know. I genuinely understand where you're coming from. It really is just so silly, man. Like, we've got a decently sized squad. Make use of it, man. But look, appreciate you for tuning in, Zuide. Really do appreciate it, man. Good. I did enjoy the stream, despite it being on a difficult topic to keep composure on. I really hope the rumor falls through. I hope Nico Gonzalez says he wants to stay and fight for a spot. I hope no teams come in offering the money, because I want this guy to get his chance. I want him to get his chance. And I'm really worried. Especially if this guy gets sold. If this guy gets sold, I'm actually super nervous. Big ups for you tuning in, Dwight. Big ups to everyone else that tuned in too. Big ups to everyone. Make sure to like the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe as well. And turn on notification bells so that you don't miss the next one. I'll see you all in the next one, Blues. See you later.